Hey there everyone, and welcome to Bill's Retro Gaming Show. On today's video, we're going to be taking a look at yet another controversy surrounding limited run games. And this one just might be a system killer. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, as always, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this video. If this happens to be your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscription button, click the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a new video, give this one a thumbs up, and leave a comment below if you want to be part of the conversation. So it looks like Limited Run Games has been accused by one of its customers of selling NES games that can potentially damage their original system. Let's check this out. So this article comes from timeextension.com, and it says here, this cartridge is a tiny time bomb. Limited Run accused of selling carts which can damage your NES. So here's what they have to say in the article. Jordi Gutierrez Hermoso got in touch with Time Extension to explain the situation, pointing out that Limited Run has been publishing carts which cause voltage issues with original hardware. This is a topic that was explored in some detail by DB Electronics a few years ago. The problem is that there's a mismatch between the 3.3 volt carts and the 5 volt systems they're being used on. So far, I've caught them doing it with Rugrats and Piao Pow, Gutierrez Hermosa tells us. He complained directly to Limited Run, pointing out that although the cart has a voltage regulator, it has no logic level translation. And what this means is that the parts on the board constantly draw power from signals that are not intended to provide power and will damage the cart and my NES. This cartridge is a tiny time bomb for my electronics. Gutierrez Hermosa also points out that the game itself has logical errors which have since been patched on the Steam release, such as a 2-player soft lock that will affect almost all players in a co-op run, and adds that he is dismayed by the quality of the product. They agree to give me a 50% refund and keep the game, which I have done, he tells us. Now, apparently, Gutierrez Hermoso is not the only one to notice this problem. There was a post on the Limited Run subreddit complaining about the same thing. The post has apparently been removed, but there is a reply that's still up. The reply says, I'm also out of patience with LRG due to lack of quality control on their NES boards they choose to publish on. The past 2 to 3 games I purchased from them don't function correctly because they're clearly sourcing the cheapest boards possible. It's very sad and upsetting that the only official release of Piao Pow was published on such low quality hardware. Find someone who has dumped the ROM and save yourself from having to put this trash board in your NES. I'm actively lobbying NES developers to avoid publishing with LRG. These releases are an embarrassment to the NES development community. So when it comes to Limited Run Games publishing their games on cartridge, especially NES cartridges, that they're using low quality product to do this, which is what's causing some of these issues. Now, the problem about, releasing the game and then it being patched later is not a new problem. That's something that's going to harken back to the original days of games coming on cartridge. If a game had a bug in it, well, there were no software patches really that you could download to a cartridge to fix that. Unfortunately, in this day and age when games are readily available on digital or on platforms that you can easily upgrade and update through patches, to have something on a cartridge that can't be patched is seen as a big issue. But of course, the bigger issue is this voltage regulator problem that can actually cause your NES to just stop working altogether at some point. That's not good.
Duh.
I don't know how else to put it. That is not good, especially if, again, you've got an original Nintendo that you play a lot of your old games on, and you like the idea of getting some of these newer, modern retro titles on cartridge that you can play in your old system like they came out back in the day. If you've got to worry that you're going to put a cartridge in that's going to damage your system, well, why would you want to do that? And obviously, a lot of people, even people high in the community like John Riggs, have talked about possibly not buying from them anymore, or certainly not playing any of the games that they bought for fear that this might happen. So this is looking like a widespread issue for limited run games. Now, this is not the first time that limited run games have been caught using subpar media. Last year, they were caught in a controversy where they had been putting 3DO games on basically off-the-shelf CDR media as opposed to commercial pressed discs, which are higher quality, which are known to last longer, and things like that. So at this point, I don't know why anybody would really buy anything from them. You know, if your thought process is that you want to have something on a media that you can play in your system for game preservation, anything like that. I get that people like the idea of physical media. When you have games like Rugrats or the Ninja Turtles game coming out primarily on digital format, to have it on some kind of physical media to be able to play it is very appealing to a lot of people because you can't lose that like you can if they take it away from the digital format. And for, newer formats like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, things like that, maybe it's not so bad. Although, again, with Switch, that does come on mini cart. I haven't heard anybody complain about the mini Switch carts that come out, but after things like this, who knows what's really going on, what kind of hardware they're really using for that. But I would say this, if you're looking at buying some of their games like Rugrats or Pow Pow on an NES cartridge, you might want to think twice about it. Or if you own it, you might want to be careful playing it because you just don't know, could it possibly ruin your NES system? But there you go, just a quick public service announcement regarding limited run games in case any of you have purchased any of these and were unaware of this problem. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you a fan of limited run games? Do you enjoy buying products from them? Or after some of the things that you've heard lately, are you avoiding them like so many others seem to be doing? Let me know. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead, leave me a like, leave me some comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that as well. And of course, if you want to support the channel even further, you could consider getting a membership. That's all for this one. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care and happy gaming.